everybody. It's Spinja. I'm back again with another episode of Surviving with Spinja, the show where I have a lot of questions. So I'm just going to bring everybody along with me because you might have the same questions too. So today I want to introduce my guest, Jennifer Nunez. I'm not quite sure how we crossed paths. I think Dawn was he found her first and was booking some interviews, and I just happened to be sitting along the sidelines for an interview, and we just got talking, and like the things that she was saying really resonated with me, and she just seems like a really super cool person and very knowledgeable about a variety of areas. And that's the part where I'm going to hand it over to her. So, Jennifer, please tell us all about you and what you do. And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to this conversation. My name is Jennifer. I am headmistress of Rise Innerversity, and I also own a consulting agency for businesses called Unity Works Agency. So Rise Innerversity is my mission here on life. It is a school for visionaries who have a bunch of ideas out there. They just don't quite know how to ground them or where to get started or how to set a solid foundation. And through Rise University, I can teach you how to really embrace your calling, gain a better understanding of who you are through tools like human design, which we're going to touch on today, astrology, mindfulness, shamanism, and a couple other modalities that I have learned along my journey. And also the tech side of things. So, how to build a website, how to operate your social media, how to package your services, and all those things that most conscious entrepreneurs are looking for answers with. So Unity Works Agency, where that comes in is if you quite don't want to learn how to do the technical side of things, that's where the agency can step in. But I have
No, it's fascinating. Like, this is cool. I'm making notes here. This is awesome. Sorry.
No, it's okay. So what I have found on the journey is that when you do step into a role greater than yourself, especially if it's like on the business side. So even if you are launching a podcast or you're trying to get your information out there, you're helping a specific community, whether that's disclosure, spiritual, health and wellness, you're going to come along the road where you're going to have to break through your inner resistance, conquering your mindset, imposter syndrome, fear of what other people think. So that's why Rise University kind of touches on those specific aspects, because through my human design, which I'll talk about here in a moment, I am what's called a heretic investigator. So I have lines 5 and 1 in my profile. And so I'm always investigating things. And whatever I am investigating, I put inside of Rise University. So it is created to be a co-collaborative platform because I firmly believe it's not an I thing, it's a we thing. And my job is to impact you because I am an emotional manifester. So manifestors are here in what's called in human design. We'll talk about the different auras and what that is. I'm an impactor. So manifestors are what really like pave the way. We're the ones that go and activate everyone else. And through my human design, I reflect back to you what your brilliance is. And I just kind of help you pull that out and learn how to kind of structure it or what to focus on first. Because if you're anything like me, I had so many different ideas and I got stuck for a while because I didn't know what direction I should be going in. I wanted to go into all these different directions, and learning about my energy, which is a manifester, is I don't operate like what majority of the world is, which is generators. And generators have that go, 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 go energy. So what happened along my journey, and I always knew I was an entrepreneur. There were times throughout my life that I had, got into different like multi-level marketing platforms, and I just couldn't sustain the energy. So, or I lost interest. Thank you to human design. That helped me too. So when I was going along the journey and after I had my awakening, the divine was talking to me and was telling me like, build it and they will come. So that's how Rise started. And I started going through all these different masterminds that were run by generators. And I was trying to keep up while doing all these multiple different projects because I wanted to do everything. That's what's called shiny object syndrome. You see someone and you're, oh, I want to do that. Oh, I want to do that. Oh, I want to do that. And then all of a sudden you've got like 15 projects underneath your belt and you're burning yourself out. Well, the non-energy types, which are manifestors, projectors, and reflectors, that we can get burned out really easily. And for a manifestor, when we don't have the creative energy, we go into what's called rest mode. And so I'd get burned out and then I'd go into rest mode and then I would beat myself up because I wasn't living up to what my potential is. So I have a defined ego. The ego center is what pushes the way. And when I realized, who my mentors were, that most of them were generators, and who I was able to take a step back and really look at like, okay, what is it that I really want to do? What brings me joy? Where can I have the biggest impact with people? And that was all through Rise Innerversity. So that's why it's a foundation, and it's really set up to start to be a innerversity, because all the information that you're really seeking is going to come from inside, not on the outside of you. So it is set up to eventually, when we have enough students to start going through it and they level up to different there's a seeker, there's an adept, there's a sage, and then there's a master level. So when they go through certain curriculum, when they get to the top tiers, then they have the potential to start teaching themselves. That way, it's not just coming from me, it's also coming from someone else, because we're all kind of coming in from different perspectives, and you may have the answer to something that I may not see. So it's not all about me. It's actually built to help the collective. What makes Rise different is, I like to call it's a choose your own adventure platform. If you were younger and you read the choose your own adventure books, someone coming in may be more advanced in the business side, but not advanced in the personal development. So you can go that way first, or you can go, if you are someone who is very, personal development, but you want to touch on your spiritual, you can go that way too. So it's forever growing curriculum. It's always expanding, and my incarnation cross through it, human design, is the left angle cross of dominion. So if you in the Bible, the God gave us dominion over the land, air, and sea, and that is really setting a solid foundation. So that's what I am good at. My skills for the tribe as a whole is that I collect a lot of resources, and then I'm able to, distribute those resources out according to the individual. So that's where Rise University came in.
Wow, like that's really cool. Um, my first thought is, like, for somebody like myself. Okay, so um I've been on my journey for a while, and like, I've known that things were off, and so I've been exploring different modalities and stuff. So I'm at a point now where I want to expand more and learn more about the modalities. And so, the like, the way that you described it, with the choose your own adventure, I know exactly what you're talking about. I know those books well. I loved them
Those are
because
my
like,
favorite.
yeah, right. And and the way that you described it, like it sounds like it would be easy like for people to figure out, like if you're familiar with, you know, the parts that like your strengths, and then the areas that you need to grow, like exactly what you were saying. Like, so for me, I have done a lot of my research like with social media and marketing and things like that, and I have touched on web design and things. And so I am bringing a little bit of that to the table, and I'm not saying I know all of it, and it would be beneficial, but having that part, it sounds like, okay, so that's a strength, but you have other areas that I would be able to focus on that would complement that. Is
Hmm.
that the impression that I'm getting? Like, it sounds like, you know, you come in with you know, the knowledge that you've gathered, and the strengths, and you assess, you know, the areas where you might need a little bit more growth, and then take what you already have to build on it. Is that, am I?
Yes, yes. So, um, when you're going through the soulpreneur journey and you're wanting to get your message out there, every entrepreneur, there's a reason why only 10% actually make it to success. And that is because you have to break through. Like, for me, I was getting caught in, what other people were thinking about me. So then the people pleasing came in, and that doesn't do very well in your business. If you don't know how to set boundaries with clients, that's going to affect your business.
Yeah.
If, like we were talking off camera, because I'm a 5-1, the one is the investigative side. So one's shadow is that they think they don't know enough. They'll question how much they know. They'll get stuck in that limiting belief. So then they spend so much time, oh my God, I can't share this because I've got to go dive into another course and learn this. And I was stuck in that trap for a very long time. And I can see how that's played out through my life. That's why I love bringing in human design and astrology into learning how you are, because we're not all the same. We are uniquely different, and we bring things uniquely to the table as a whole to create this reality that we are operating in. The thing that people are struggling with is the competition, being like someone else. So it goes hand in hand with a lot of things, and that's why for me the personal development side of things is huge.
Yes.
I didn't know, like imposter syndrome, that's fear of what other people think, putting your information out there and being afraid that people are going to discredit you because you're not talking about what they think you're talking about. Um, so yeah, that's why I tied it in, and there's some people out there, some mentors that will touch on the human, or not the human, the personal development side along with the business, but it really all goes hand in hand. So I try to give you as many tools that you can utilize in your toolbox so that when you do come across that, you can, oh, I just need to apply this and work on it and move. And if the people that I'm attracting are what I call visionaries. So they are the soulpreneurs. They are the new conscious entrepreneurs who are going to be teaching people how to do things differently, because the matrix has taught everybody to be the same, and we're not. So it's, even if you do study business or entrepreneur or copywriting or marketing and all that stuff that goes along with it, there are fundamental tools that are great that will apply throughout all time, but not one person has the right answer. You can see this on social media. There are mentors out there who are teaching party tricks. So it's like, what is Facebook or Instagram's theme of the week? So they'll go do a course with, oh, you can only focus on reels this time. Well, what happens? The algorithm changes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then the course you just took, there may be information that would apply across time, but the bulk of the information that you learned is not going to work for you because it's changed. So I like to bring back and teach those fundamental skills
Yeah.
that have been working since the eon of when you were in a village and the bread baker was trying to promote his stuff with the weaver, you
Yeah.
know so it all comes hand in hand.
Well, and I can see it. So this is the part I don't think I've really put it out there to my audience before. And like maybe people assumed. So once upon a time, I actually did have a little fiber arts business. It was mostly focused with crocheting. I was a single mom at the time, and basically how it had started was that I started doing pattern testing, and I had just made so much stuff that I was running out of room. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to start getting into markets. Like I'm going to do craft shows and get into markets and things like that. And then I started taking custom orders. And like the things that you were saying, like in regards to like setting boundaries and like knowing yourself, and that is, I'm not gonna say I didn't do it wrong. Um, I didn't. I went into business and I basically did it just to make ends meet, and it just felt like the world took advantage of me not having the self confidence. It's like, I'm just here, just please buy my stuff because I want to buy some food for my son. And it's, there were some people that they were so kind, and then others were just so cruel and just treated me like the dirt under their feet. Like, just as an example, like, um I had a booth, and I had these two baby hats that I made, and the one I did exactly as the pattern called for, and I didn't really care for it. And so the next one I did the same, like the same colors, but it's like I added my own twist. And so this man comes up to me and he's looking at them, and he's like, oh, these are different. And so I explained it to him, and he said, well, because they're different, I want to get them for twins, but because they're different, can you knock some money off like, can you knock the price down because they're different? And that was one of the times, though, that I actually stuck to my guns and said, no, I can't, because the same amount of time, the same cost of materials went into it. It's just a variation on stitches. So no. But I feel like if I had have known myself better, like that's the only time, like that's one of the only times I was able to like stand my ground. Any other time I'd be like, well, you know what, I really need to make this sale. Okay. And just listening to you talk and how you were coaching people, I feel it is really important to know yourself and learn how to set those boundaries and things like that. And so it just like, this is really resonating with me, because if I had to do it all over again, it's like, okay, it's almost like any, like even like a relationship, like, look at yourself first, know yourself, and then, okay, you're a better partner, but you're also a better entrepreneur out there in the world, that like you just, you can, I don't know. I know what I'm saying, but the words aren't coming out. I think you get it though.
Yeah, no, I completely get it. And that's one of the biggest lessons that I've had to learn too along this journey, is that, we so I'm I've gone through and have worked with a bunch of different clients where I'm able to actually see what I want and what I don't want, where I'm setting boundaries, where I'm not setting boundaries. And we do things, especially when you are in the position that you need income. Okay. And when you're in that position, you think that if you don't capitulate really to the person that is buying from you, that you're not going to get, another sale. Well, the thing is how many people are on this planet?
Yeah.
And there goes in the law of attraction. Okay. So energy is energy. And when you in any type of business, it is really the confidence and the energy there. So there are some customers that I have right now, or previously had, that I don't really want to work with anymore. And that's okay.
Mhm.
And, that can affect my income. But what I'm doing is I'm leaning more into trust with the divine and my higher calling, that it's going to attract the clients that I need. I'm grateful for them to come through, because what that was a learning lesson.
Yes.
It got you clear on, one, your voice, communicating your boundaries and saying no. Kudos to you for, I've taken on projects that I really, after I did it, I was like, why the hell did I say yes? And it was because of the money.
Yes.
And I had one mentor tell me, never sell from your bank account. Never ever do sales from your bank account. The number in your bank account does not dictate your worth. And never sell anything because you know the number in your bank account. That is where your mind, which your mind doesn't really know anything, it's really your heart and your spirit that's going to guide you. The mind's going to come in and disrupt you through all of the limitations, the stuff that people told you before, if you not being successful, the fear, all this stuff. If you can exit out of the mind, which is not that easy when you are working, especially within sales or marketing, stop thinking about the number in your bank account. When you stop thinking about the number in your bank account, because that customer may have wanted you to knock down the price, even though you same material, same amount of time, same heart and soul that was poured into it, you know, someone else could have come along and would have not even asked you a question or said anything, and would have bought it right away.
Yeah.
And the people that are coming to you, that you are attracting, is ultimately teaching you a lesson. So it in those situations, especially mine, since I step into a mentorship and a teacher role, I'm also the student. And I always keep that mentality, because I'm learning something from you right now, that just on this call, I'm always learning and being open to learning of what is being reflected back to me. And kudos to you, girl, because it's just keep going. The more that you do keep going, that's where success comes in. And it's these type of situations that come up in this journey where we can get stuck in failure, not doing it anymore. No one likes my product. I can't do sales. I don't like this. I mean, all sorts of negative self-talk comes in, that if you just keep going and take it as a learning lesson, then you can tweak things behind the scenes and go back in.
It's interesting. One of the ways that I have actually approached my journey is well, and I don't know if it started, I think, with the physical, and I've kind of stretched it over to the information thing. Like there was a part, like I had a bad spot in my life where, like I ended up homeless and didn't have anything. And so people gave me things and I started collecting things, and at that point it was kind of out of desperation because, like I didn't have the money, I never knew. And so, like I learned from that. But then, and it has benefited me in a way. Like now I collect things. It's not out of desperation. It's like, okay, what can I use this for? Like down the road kind of thing, like for repurposing. So it's like even that transition, but it's the same thing. Like um when when I was learning how to spin, um I gathered the basic information, and then I was invited to join a spinning group after my classes were done. And I got into the spinning group, and and they were talking all of this advanced terminology, and I'm like, oh my God, I am never going to learn this stuff. Like this is all over my head. But you know what? I'm gonna hang out here anyway because maybe someday this is going to make sense. I'm just gonna gather the information, and then I'm gonna have an aha moment, and I'm gonna be like, I am so glad I paid attention. And it's interesting because I did that, and of course the day came where I was sitting around with a bunch of people and they were talking and using this terminology. I was like, hey, I know what that means. I know what that means. And that also ties over too to like you brought up the law of attraction, and like we were discussing before we hit the record button, like that's kind of on the trail that I'm sniffing right now. And
Mhm.
it's interesting because well, oh, it's not showing up, of course. It's this I'm reading The Law of Attraction right now by Esther and Abraham Hicks. And those were books again that I acquired, that I've had those books. I think I got them in 2010, and I'm just reading them now.
I have books like that too, girl.
And I guess where I'm going with all of this, and just encouraging people that like you're still figuring stuff out. Don't disregard the information that makes no sense to you. If there's something that is telling you that someday it's going to make sense, hang on to it, file it, because it absolutely will. And this is and I guess where this all ties in is that you have me stoked. Like this is something, like I'm playing around with the law of attraction right now, and working on rewiring and redirecting and things. Like I'm absolutely thrilled with where my life is going, but there's some things that I want to tweak and stuff. And I'm finding like the little tidbits and things, and like I feel like you and I are going to work together down the road, because you're going to fill in some gaps. Like you're already filling in gaps for me. So that's I'm
It
setting the intention for that.
Yes. Well, it is. I mean, I've been playing around and working with the law of attraction as well. And it is, changing the mindset. We
Yes,
don't, as humans, habit doesn't set in until, that numbers differates. But I like to do things 30 days in a row, and then it can become a habit. But
okay.
then for me, sometimes, the habits change. The one habit that I'm working on right now is making sure that I am consistently taking my supplements, at the same time every day. And as I said that, I forgot to take them after I ate. So I'll remember to take my next set of supplements. But after 30 days, I'm more conscious of remembering it. And I have set a plan for myself. I have a pill box that I separate everything, and when I'm supposed to take it, that's made it easier for me to remember instead of like taking it out of the jar or whatever. And I'm an absorber too. So I have to absorb the information. Human design is perfect for this because it goes over so many people's heads. They associate it like it is like astrology, and astrology can go over people's
Yeah.
heads. It's just taking time to absorb the information without judgment. You
Yes. Yes.
know, when you bring in judgment on whatever it is that you are learning, know that it is a process. Some people can get it easy. I'm not one that gets it that easy. I have to absorb the information And really, I don't know what I know until someone asks me, and then it comes out. And then when I'm being mindful in the moment and I hear myself speak, I'm like, oh, well, I do know more than what I think I know, because I've absorbed the information and I'm taking time to allow it to integrate into my space. So, human design, the other night I was talking to a group of ladies that I'm friends with here in Houston, and they brought up information about becoming a state national, taking yourself off of taxes and stuff like that. And that's something that I've also been diving into for, I think, 3 or 4 years now, learning it, which is very complex because the master web that they have weaved in our collective. And just by kind of responding to some of their questions, I was like, oh, well, I do kind of know a little bit more than what I give myself credit for, even though I may not know the terminology, which is important, and I am learning how to implement in my conversations. I'm able to have a discussion with somebody about it, so I can give them the information and tell them where to go that I found it. Okay, you're going to want to go this direction or talk to this person. So it is really just absorbing it. And the law of attraction, what I have found is that there's wonderful techniques out there that multiple different people have. It is finding what works for you and being consistent. But through any modality, whether it's even human design, law of attraction, my core fundamental tool that I like to use is mindfulness. Because if you're not being mindful in the moment, you're going to struggle with these things. What you say in out of your mouth that's how we're manifesting. That's what human design teaches us. Why when you look at a human design, all of the channels go to the throat. What makes a manifester is that they have an energy center with a channel directly to the throat, because before the throat, everything is happening internally. Until you speak it into existence, that is when creation happens. So most people, they're not mindful of what they say, and it's very important that you are mindful of what you speak about. And that goes back to being mindful in the moment and paying attention or thinking before you speak. What are you creating into the reality? And that is, manifestation happens when you are impressing a thought with emotion and speaking it into existence. So if you are worried about, we'll talk about being at a place where you're selling, okay, like a market. If you're coming in before you even get to the market and you're worried and about, oh my God, I'm not going to sell anything, I'm not going to have enough money, it's all in your head, you get trapped up in the emotion, you're in the car and you're like, it's not going to be a good day, I'm not going to sell anything, why did I sign up for this, I don't have any faith, I don't have any confidence, then you get to the place, you don't have any sales, and then now you're convincing yourself well, I knew it wasn't going to work. Well, you knew it wasn't going to work because you set yourself up way from the very, very beginning that it wasn't going to happen. My aunt, she is a pessimistic person, and I watch her because boy, can she manifest things good. I mean, first it was we had a tree in the backyard and she would obsess to the point where she couldn't sleep about this tree falling down. Okay. And a couple of weeks later, what happened? It would start to lean over. And then it was the washer. The washer's going to break. I know the washer's going to break. She'd lose sleep, but the washer's going to break. Well, the washer broke. Then it was the refrigerator, and then it was the toilet. And when I started to put she's manifesting this, like, so anytime she starts to bring something up about the next thing that's going to go wrong, I'm like, la, 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 I don't want to hear it because I'm not going to contribute in that manifestation because you are creating these scenarios that can justify you knowing things. Switch that. If you're pessimistic and you do that, start being optimistic. In the mornings, I do tapping. So for a part-time job now, I do lunch deliveries. And in the morning, I am tapping that it's going to be a great day. It's going to be a smooth day. I'm going to have no problems with any of the places that I pick up. Everything is going to go smooth. And like I would say 95% of the time, it goes that way for me because I am manifesting that. A good technique that you can start to practice it with is when you go shopping. Before you even leave the house, keep telling yourself you're going to have a front row parking spot.
Yeah.
And claim it. Like, I have a parking spot in front of my house. When school was in session, I live across the street from a high school. I would always say I'm going to have this parking space when I get back. And majority of the time it would be there.
Is that what she's asking?
Okay, no, Don's gonna Donna Rue's gonna poke in here because he has questions.
No, I was just listening to how changing your terminology and something we're trying to manifest is our farm. And I've caught myself doing it, and I'm just going to ask this straight out because we often use the term when we get the farm. Should we be using the term on the farm we?
Yes, claim it as though you already have it.
Okay, thank you.
It's not when. The only reason you don't have it right now is because you have to get to the vibration. You have to have that vibration, you embody that vibration and walk into it. And that's not easy. Because I'm working on the same thing as well. It's not that easy when you may have had past experiences or people have told you in the past that that's not possible or things like this. You have to break through that. I have a vision board, and what I realized, another thing that people do when they're manifesting is I'm going to manifest $1 million. If you've never had $1 million in your life, if any time that $1 million comes up in your mind, you don't think it's possible, or you think that that's going to happen overnight. I mean, I believe in miracles, but that's one big, massive miracle. And people who do achieve that miracle will take people who win the lottery. How often do they hold on to that $1 million? They become bankrupt and poor within a year because they haven't been able to learn how to handle that vibration of walking into it. It's too instant. So it's like making step up manifestations and affirmations. So if y'all are manifesting a farm, what are the steps that you need to do to get to that farm? Manifest that next level. And when you get there, manifest that next level. And then there, and then that's what helps you get to your goals quicker than having a grand vision. On my vision board, I had the school. I actually want a physical school. And what I realized is that, it's been on my vision board for 2 years now. What I realized was that, I am breaking through what I need to get to that point. It's not going to be handed to me, but I am working on the steps that spirit wants me to allow me to shift that vibration and embody it so I can walk into it. I know it's going to happen. I know it's there, but I'm setting the solid foundation for me to get there.
That is cool because okay, so you've helped me see some of the stuff. Like one of the things that Dot and I were suspecting is, why it hasn't happened yet. Like there's a few different things. Like we know, okay, obviously now we need to figure out the art of allowing. We need to raise our vibration and become a match And so there are different little things that I'm doing, like he's doing them too. I'm just going to speak for me right now, but just as an example, okay, like the on Facebook, the my cover picture is a picture of the driveway, and that's the view that I want. And right now I am actually working on a blanket. I'm crocheting a blanket for the living room, and I have it envisioned. I have the couch envisioned, and there's going to be a wood stove, and it's like a rustic plaid. I'll be posting pictures on Facebook at some point with and then when you were talking about learning different things, so one of the things that I've pieced together is that I was told that I could never do this. I could never have a house on my own. I could never maintain it. Like even if I had it, I would lose it and all this stuff. And I could never afford a vehicle on my own or anything like that. And in the last last year, the universe is like, I'm going to show you that yes, you can do all of this, and you're going to succeed at it. And so Don walked away from his job last October, and I'm so grateful that he did. And so and that's the thing, like with our relationship, like with the two of us, like he'll take care of things for a while when I'm kind of feeling off, or not even off, just off doing other adventures. And
Mm-hmm.
then now it's my turn to take care of things while he's off with, like, oh my gosh, the growing that he's doing, well, I know, like um he's working on building his podcast, and then he's doing commercials for people in the community, and he's doing all of these things, and it's just like, it's mind-blowing. And so he's not in a place right now where he could have a matrix job and is able to be of service to the community the way that he is. And like, and he was struggling with that for a little while, and because of the society, that like what they've put on men, and the roles, and we to that we salute you with one middle finger.
Right. Yeah, I know.
And so after he broke through with that, like I was just saying to him last week, it's like, okay, how many times have you been in a role where you've taken care of the family, and you've done it, and you've been with a significant other where she's taken a step back, or she's looked after the kids, or had a job that didn't quite like quite earn enough, like earn the same kind of money, like things like that. And like he's just taking care of things, and he's like, that's been my life. And so I said to him, like, maybe it's time, that you take a step back, and you're still doing the things that you want to do, but somebody else takes the wheel. And that's where the partnership comes in. And this is the part where we've lined it up, that the universe is proving to me, and I'm proving to myself, what I was told is an absolute lie. Right now, I'm working, and I'm providing a roof over our heads, like for two adults and a teenager. I'm maintaining the truck payment, making all the payments, and I never in a million years thought I could do this. And things lined up. It's like, oh no, you're going to see this. You're going to see this, and you're also going to liberate somebody else from, and like, he's free right now. He's free of the matrix.
Mm-hmm.
He's said, like many times, like, yes, I work 10 hours a day, but I love my job. I really do. I go in there, and like the first 4 hours, I look at the clock, and it's like, holy crap, where'd that go? And like that's a whole other thing, like the job that I'm doing. And so it's really cool, like where I'm going with this is, like, like the universe shows us also that we're prepared, and so we get the memo, which puts us in a place. It's like, oh wait, this is possible. I am doing it. So why isn't the farm possible? Well, it is. Look, you've done what you thought was impossible. So here you go. Like, go for it. How do you know it's not possible?
Exactly. Well, and it teaches that you're worthy of it because,
Yeah.
a lot of us, we weren't raised in the best situations. And, the people that did raise us or that we were around, the adults, they were reacting and talking out of their trauma. And a lot of us are here to break that trauma. I came across a video the other day of um an astrologer that was talking about where the houses that the North Node is in. And that is really that house theme is what you're here to do. So mine is in the eighth house, and the eighth house is the cycle breaker. So,
Oh,
and as soon as I realized that, I was like, oh, okay, that makes complete sense because the more that I'm getting closer to my manifestation, I am breaking these mini cycles that were embedded in me when I was younger. And it's not just our own trauma, like we're here to heal massive trauma, but self worth and knowing that I was capable of doing it has been huge for me because you can get into these self-sabotaging tendencies that you don't feel like you're worthy or that it's not possible. So I'm manifesting my own place. And earlier this year, I had a family member that had to transition into a retirement home. And I inherited, like I told you, the huge loom. I wanted a wood burning stove. I got a very fancy French old, like vintage wooden stove. Like, and when it came in, I was like, okay, here you're helping me, you're giving me the stuff that I'm going to need in the next spot of my journey when I get there. That it's, I'm someone that I love to repurpose materials. The stuff that's out nowadays is just not of the same quality as it used to be way back in the day. So I love vintage stuff. I love antiques, and especially repurposing items out there because people are so wasteful that I do the same thing as you. I like to collect things of like, when can I use this in the future? So that's what I've been doing. But then when I realized what was happening, I was being mindful in the moment. I was like, oh, well, this is fantastic. I got excited because I was like, I am one step closer to where I want to be at my end goal. And, I don't think there's ever a true end because when you get there, you're going to start manifesting more. You're going to go
yes,
bigger and bigger and bigger. It's just, you have to go through the journey. You have to release that energy that is in your body because energy is going to attract other energy.
yes,
Everything outside of us is just a reflection of what's really going on inside. And when we take time to step back and just kind of like recalibrate ourselves, we can start to shift in the direction that we need to go. And it's all a learning lesson. I mean, I've manifested things in a very quick way, and there's been things that have taken me a while to manifest in, and stuff that I still have on my manifestation board that I am bringing in. But anytime where I'm not where I think I should be, I reevaluate what it is that I'm doing. Most of the time it's that self-sabotaging, and I'm like, that right there. Okay. I got to work on that. So when this situation comes up, because it's going to repeat, this is why clients, okay, this is a big thing when you're working with clients. You keep attracting the same type of client, different person, same scenario, same thing happening. What are you going to do to get off that hamster wheel? You're going to change the direction. You're going to change how you're reacting. You're going to be more effective in your communication. You're going to start giving those boundaries. Boundaries is a huge thing that people are working on. So
Yes.
the more that I do and the more that I honor myself, the more that I'm being rewarded by the universe and the divine as a whole. So
So how does so somebody is curious about their human design number, because you keep talking about 5-1, and I think I might have did like a an online quiz, because it sounds very it sounds very familiar. It just like the energy and a lot of the stuff that you're talking about, just a lot of parallels, just and so like I'm super curious to, like, how does one find out where they fall into.
okay, so with human design, there's so much that goes into that.
Yeah.
I'll give you the link to my website. I'll give you the link to where you can go pull your chart. And it is riseinnerversity.com/get-your-chart. And what that will do is pull up your human design. And it breaks it down into a couple of different categories. You have your type, which there are 4 types on the planet. 5, some people say 5. You have manifestors, which are 9% of the population. You have generators and manifesting generators. They are 65, 70, yeah, 65% of the population, and the majority, the worker bees. Projectors, which are pretty much the project managers of the group, they are 30%. And then you have 1% of reflectors, and reflectors reflect back the health of the tribe. Then you have what your profile type is, and how the profile type is pulled in is human design uses the I Ching, which in the I Ching is the 64, it's 64 different flavors of like the genetic genome in Chinese. It's different flavors. And in those 64 hexagrams is what they're called. They each have a specific line, and there's 6 lines, okay? So if you look at the lines going up as a house, 1s are the floor base, 2s, they're like on the second, the first floor inside the house. Then you have 3s and 4s going up to the stairs. 5s are in the second story, and then 6 is like they have an overall view. So it's kind of like a elevator, and that's where you get the profile types. And that is pulled from what your sun and earth numbers are, okay, based on the 64 hexagrams. It gets more complex. We probably have to do a different video on this with
Yeah.
slides. I need to put something together with slides. So that's what gives you your profile type. And what your profile type is, along with like who you are, whether a manifestor, generator, reflector, or projector, that will add the flavor into what your energy. And your profile type is basically, the first line, my 5, is what the world sees.
Okay.
Okay. So the 5 is the heretic. I am in the projection field all the time. And I can see that projection field, especially when I was younger. So going through school, I was bullied a lot. And the reason that I was bullied was because when someone's projecting onto me and I don't fit the projection that they see me as, I become the heretic. And what has history done with heretics? So that's a huge wound that we need to clear.
Yeah.
So I'm constantly within the projection field. Now, internally, that's the second line. That is who you are inside. That's what's happening inside of you. So I'm always investigating. We've had very powerful manifestors, 5-1s especially, out within our collective, but they are here basically to externalize what they find through their investigation. And that's not always easy to do. A lot of people don't want to have to hear what I have found in my investigation, because it's not going along with the theme of what the crowd is saying. I'm not supposed to. Also, because I'm a manifester, I am just meant to inform and go. That's where some of my people pleasing tendencies come in, because not everybody wants to hear what I have to externalize. They're not quite ready yet for it. And because I've done investigation, like there's some stuff that I have known for 4 years now that I am now able to talk about, because the collective has caught up to what I'm saying. So depending on what your profile type, there's several different ones out there, will tell you what the world sees you as and how you are operating internally. Then you can break it down into what your incarnation cross is. Your incarnation cross is something that you will inherently live out throughout this lifetime. And you'll learn about what your strategy is, and your strategy and authority will help you better base what your decisions are, or how to make decisions and navigate through the plane. So I have what's called, well, each of the centers in human design is based by the chakra system. Okay. And not everybody has a defined chakra, or you have a defined center and you have an open center. It's the colored center versus the white center. And the colored center just means that when the energy comes down from above, it is more structured within that center, okay? Where the open centers are amplifying the energy. I have my strategy is, I have an emotional center. So I am an emotional manifester, and the strategy for people who are defined emotionally is to wait for clarity. And I can see how that's played out. Sometimes when I am making decisions, when I'm in a high emotion, like, yes, oh God, that feels good, feeling good, I'll make a decision. And then later on, I'm like, why did I say yes to that? That's because I've allowed that energy to flow through me, and I now have that clarity, where the emotions are always up and down. This is where you can see a lot of people who have anxiety or depression. Okay. It's really just the way I like to look at human design, especially in the disclosure community. I'm really going to be working on a presentation for this, is that we're aliens ourselves. Okay. Human design is very ancient and advanced technology on how to operate your suit. So your spirit is operating in a meat suit right now that's biological. And everybody wants to know what these aliens are doing, but the thing is that they're studying us, and I am pretty sure that they know this knowledge. And the more that us humans know what our suit is capable of, can help us advance, not only within ourselves, but as a community. Okay. And not everybody's driving around in the same model. Like, I could have a Tesla model. You could have a Jaguar model, or a Ford model, or whatever type of model it is. But if you're trying to operate in a way that's not in alignment with you, things won't go your way. So the type is basically, if you're the manifester, the generator or manifesting generator, projector or reflector, and then knowing your strategy and authority is the best way that I tell people how to get started. And because I have an emotional center, if you're undefined emotionally, and especially if you're a generator, you're going to have a defined sacral center. That's what makes a generator, is a defined sacral center. It's the strongest motor in the human body that is constantly producing energy until it burns out. And then you get up and you go, go, go. They are to make their decisions on, basically, it's a gut response. You can ask a generator a yes or no question. The first response that comes up in their body, that's what you go with. Not what this tells you, because even if we look in the animal kingdom, any animal, I have cats, I watch them all the time. No one, when they walk into a room, they can instantly pick up the energy by their body. Okay. They're not getting in their mind second guessing that energy at all. No one has told them to get in their mind and second guess that energy. But in humans, we're going to second guess it. So we will tend to get into things that we have known already that no, that's not really a good idea. No, I shouldn't say yes to that. Oh, everyone else is going. I think I'm going to go to that party. Yeah, I'm going to join in because everyone else is doing it. And then you get there and you just thought you're not having a good time, even though you knew at the very beginning, your body told you, no, that's not right for you. Yes, that is right for you. You didn't listen to it. So then you had to have the learning experience.
Oh,
Um,
I had a $10,000 learning experience. um, when I graduated from high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Like I wanted to be a music teacher. I wanted to be a radio announcer, and I got shut down. That's long story short. And so it's like, okay, I was pressured to pick something. And I'm like, all right, well, I'll pick hairdressing. It basically came down to that was my mom suggested. I was 17 years old, just wanted to make her happy. She had a valid point. It was something I could always fall back on. So there was that because I knew I didn't know what I wanted to do. And so I graduated from high school on the 24th of June, was I started hairdressing school on the 4th of July. And I'm looking around, and there's four other students, and I'm like, what the hell am I doing here? And that is when I should have ran, but I didn't.
yes. Yes.
um
When we get off this call, I'll have to pull your human design. We'll have to decipher it. But uh,
oh,
the gist of it is that there is a lot of information that goes in it.
yeah,
And as soon as anybody does get their human design, I like, it's called, or what I like to say is that you're going to go into your experiment. Okay. And your experiment is witnessing what is being told to you through your human design and witnessing it in real time that it is true. So the more that you understand what your type is, how your energy operates, what your profile is, that's the numbers, and what your strategy and authority is, that's going to help you get started navigating this ethereal plane. And when you start following your strategy and authority, that is where things change. So I've witnessed it time and time and time again. I'm a manifester. I'm not meant to ask. I am meant to inform. So when I inform, just like if I come out of my room and I tell people I'm going to the store, no one gets in my way. When someone gets in my way, my aura automatically tells me, and it repels. That's what makes me a manifester. That tells me that thing that's stopping me is not in alignment with me. But if I ask, then I could get, held back in from me trying to do that move. That's why I have to just inform. That's a hard thing for me when I've been taught to ask for things as a child, and when I ask for things, it doesn't really is not in alignment. So each different type has a different strategy and authority. And as soon as they start following it, life does get better for them. Manifestation, working, personal relationships, all sorts of things. And human design is just really fascinating when you dive into it. It is one of those things that you do have to absorb, but
yeah.
I like to look at it as it's our advanced technology.
I can see that, and I am just smiling again at how the universe works, because I did hear about human design. Like that's where I first heard about it on a podcast about a year ago. And like, thank you to the individuals that did it, but there were some other things that just didn't resonate with me, and so then I moved on to other podcasts. And so I kind of put it on the back burner, as like to some for something that I would like to explore down the road. And it just feels like now is the time because I've done that much more growing. I gathered that much more information in the meantime, and it just feels like more of a fit. And as I'm sitting here listening to you to describe it, like I'm getting chills, and I know like my inner being's like, yes, yes, she's getting it. She's on the right track. I'm seeing like different advantages. Like basically it's our personalized operating manual that we're being kept from. And so when we know how to operate ourselves, and then I'm going to use Don as an example because I already know how this is going to go because he's going to want to know because he just wants to know. So he's going to know his operating manual. We're going to discover our individual and then compare notes, and then we're going to want to, so our 16-year-old son, like what you're describing, like I'm feeling like this could be a gift for parents too.
Oh, it
So
is. Every parent out there wants to have an owner's manual to their child. It is human design. And when you allow a child to grow within their human design, things really do start to change, because not only do we have our own design, but when our auras come in contact with another person, especially a couple, you know, different centers light up. You get different channels, what's called channels and gates, and your design can tweak as well. And the same with three or more in a group. It's just like, if you're wanting to have a conversation with a group of people or with a specific individual, you can play that conversation over and over and over and over and over and over and over in your head, and you're going to be a certain way. But then when the situation happens, it doesn't roll out the way that you wanted to, and then you walk away from the situation, you're like, well, why didn't I just do this? Or why didn't when you look into human design at a deeper level, you're like, oh, that's why that didn't happen that way. Or in all sorts of things. I mean, it is really, 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 really fascinating. And it is a very advanced. It did not come out until the late 90s, I believe. And there are more and more human design readers out there. And some I resonate with the information, some I don't. I don't think that they fully have grasped it. I see things at a deeper level. That's why I feel like this is advanced alien technology that needs to be shared, because especially in the disclosure community, they're wanting to know about the beings outside of us or coming from a different space. Well, they're studying us for probably this very same reason,
yeah.
because it's our suits are operating in a specific manner. It's just understanding who you are at a deeper level. So
Oh, this is so cool. No, and I'm just gonna say it again. Like I'm glad that like I'm asking these questions now because I absolutely want to find out more about my son because like he's like the two of us have been breaking cycles left, right, and center, but there are still some things that I feel like if I can get to the root of it and understand him better, and but especially for him to understand himself, I think that's the most important thing is for him to see it too. And I'm going to encourage the people that are watching, listening, or whatever format. Definitely stay tuned because this is something that we are going to work on as a family. And like down the road, if you'd like to come back, we can. I would love to have a discussion to say, hey, this is what's happened to us. Like I already know that we're going to be a testimony to how this is going to work. Oh, and Dawn has something. Oh, part two.
yeah, totally. We can do part two. I'll give you the link for anybody who's watching this can go pull their chart.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
if they have any questions, like when you pull your chart, when you scroll down, there's a couple free PDFs that you can download that will specifically tell you about you. And if you want to go further, on my website, there's a chat bot. I'm pretty sure she's going to post my social links. You can reach out.
You
And we can
betcha. You
definitely
betcha.
talk. So,
Oh no, we need to get loud about this, Jennifer, because I feel like, and I think this is why I was so excited, because I feel like this is going to be a game changer, and it's just like, okay, I have to scale back a little bit. Maybe it might not work for everybody, but I know it's going to work for us. So I'm like super excited.
it definitely will. It's been life changing for me. Once I witness it for myself, when I'm in because you're always in your experiment, but once I witness it, I'm just like, there it is again. That's what it convinced me, because I sat on it. I had to absorb the information. When I got my first reading, I got pissed, really. And I had to sit on it. And then my teacher, he's old school, so he uses a lot of the terminology that the guy who brought it in was called Ra Urahu. And just like my aura is closed and repelling. And when he told me that, I was like, what the fuck is that, closed and repelling? What does that mean? I mean, why are you picking that term? Repelling sounds so repelling. And when I learned about what that energy does, because I'm an energy reader at the end of the day, I can see it. I actually, to give you an example, I had a situation where when I was inheriting all these items from my family member, they were in the process of cleaning out her house, and the guys were throwing some of the stuff away, like boxes that I hadn't gone through. And I
Mm.
said something to him, and because I'm a manifester, it came off so forceful that he popped back at me. And I informed him. I said, no, uh, anything that comes out of this house was told that I was to go through, and I'm going to go through it. And he left the job site. He had to get in his truck and drive away. And when I realized that, I was talking to my teacher who taught me this, and he started laughing. He goes, that's your repelling aura, Jennifer. You repelled him so much, it was physically hurting him, that he was so agitated, he had to get out of your aura to calm down. And I was okay.
So, so this, so as you work through it, and you learn about your design and whatnot, these are the things that you start to become more aware of. Like,
Yes.
oh my goodness, oh my goodness. So, I mean, so for me, I'm being really real about my behavior and how I was raised, and like just owning my shit. So I was raised around a lot, like, narcissists, controlling people, like just a lot of toxic people. And so yes, I have picked up those traits. I know it. I own it because I wasn't exposed to anything else. And it just makes me sick. How many people have I inadvertently hurt because I didn't know any different? So this is something that can help you
Absolutely. First step
go
that you
in on
want
it.
to look into is your open centers, because your open centers are what's going to be prone to the conditioning of others. And it's expressing itself in what's called the not self theme, which is the shadow aspect of that energy.
Oh, I'm trying not to cry here, because this is the shit that I just want to pull it out, because I don't want to take part anymore in hurting anybody. I'm sorry.
No, don't. But yes, I mean, human design can do so many different things, but it can definitely help you where you've been conditioned the most,
Yeah.
where you're open to be conditioned by other people or your environment around you that will cause you to act in a certain way. And ultimately, you're spending so much time in your mind of, well, why did I just do that? And you beat
Yeah.
yourself up for it. But when you can recognize what it is and you can dig deeper into it, it also it has the not self theme and how you're really supposed to react. So when I everything in human design has a not self theme. It always has a positive and a negative. And we'll talk about my incarnation cross here for a moment. My incarnation cross, one of the prominent gates in there is gate 45. And gate 45 is what collects the resources. Well, it distributes the resources to the tribe. And because it's in my incarnation cross, which means it's prominent in my chart, it's highlighted. What tends to happen is that when it's in my environment and things don't tend to go the way that I have already planned them out, because that is what I'm designed to do, and someone may step in or interfere, not so much now, but before, a controlling energy would want to come in. When I get into relationships, I would like to control the environment because it would help me they were narcissistic and abusive relationships. So I would tend to clean. I was the cleaner. I was the one that was going to take care of the household. I was to do the shopping, do the cleaning, do this. And then if anybody got in my way, anger would come up. And my not self theme for the manifester is anger. So then that anger would manifest as like you're being controlling. And I could never figure out why it was, but I am designed to pretty much monitor what's going on in the tribe, handle different projects. And when you're standing in my way, and I didn't inform, that's my strategy. I didn't inform that I was going to do this. So someone would interfere, I would get upset, and it would manifest first as an anger. And then I would be told that I was controlling. And when I started to see, when I digged into my human design, I can see the energetic chain reaction of everything that's happening. So I can get down to the source and I can work on that and nip it in the bud. And then if it comes up, I'm like, what did I not do? Oh, I didn't inform. That's all. Didn't follow my strategy.
Oh my goodness. No, this is going to be a game changer. Like this, no, this has to happen for me. I really can't thank you enough. Um, like this has been amazing. And I mean, this is just the beginning.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's a lot. But yeah, just anybody who's watching, highly recommend go pull your chart, find out what type you are, find out what your profile is, and what your strategy and authority is.
Wow. Well, Jennifer, I can't thank you enough for your time and the sharing of your knowledge and your experience. Is there anything else you would like to share? I know talking full disclosure now conference, which you want to throw some
Yes.
there because it seems like there's some people not wanting to play nice in the sandbox these days. So let's get real loud about this.
Absolutely. For those of you who are watching or don't know, I am the Brian calls me the webmaster, for the Full Disclosure Now conference that is happening July, and I can never remember the date.
15th to 18th.
15th through the 18th.
We went through this with Ron Friday night. So
Yes. July 15th through the 18th. Come on down for the weekend because there's an awesome event that's happening right before that, which is called the Day of Being. But it is taking place in St. Pete Beach, Florida at the Serrata Resort. There are over 30 awesome speakers that are coming. They're going to have a lot of vendors, and I'm really excited that it's all coming together the way that it is. So much that there is people out there that we're getting censored or trying to prevent it from happening, but it is full steam ahead, and it is the largest disclosure event that's happening on the East Coast. Most of them happen on the West Coast. We're bringing it over to the East. So hope to see you there. You can get your tickets at the fulldisclosuremovement.org website.
thank you for that. Yes, we're unfortunately we're not going to be able to make it, but we're big supporters and we're sharing everything that we can. I actually had a link pulled down yesterday. Facebook isn't exactly being kind to us. Those of us that are supporting and trying to spread the word. It was interesting, and we're just. I'm actually going to take a second to call Facebook out with its censorship because like like people within our community are saying about like we're being censored and things like that, and like a lot of people are like, nah, you guys are playing victims here, and it's like, no, we're not. The more people are calling us out, it's the more Facebook's proving us right, that they're very biased, and so anyway, just keep spreading the word, because this is the truth. This is the disclosure. This is like what's being hidden from us. People are coming out and they're talking about our their experiences, and it's time for everybody to compare notes. Like we've
Absolutely.
we know that there's been deception and there's programs and all of this nasty stuff going on, but we're at a place now. Let's compare notes. Let's move forward. Let's heal. And I really feel like this conference is going to be helpful with networking and the healing process for a lot of people.
I believe that too.
So Jennifer, can you tell everybody where they can find you? And we will absolutely include the links in the show notes as well, but just for people that are listening.
Yeah. Super simple. You can go find my website at jointheriseevolution.com, and that will redirect you to the main site. Take a look. There's blogs. There's all sorts of information, free courses that you can join. And I'm now starting to integrate workshops and work classes that y'all can join. So just check out the community calendar and take a look around. It's got a plethora of information on there to help you get started.
Absolutely. And I can just say as an endorsement, Jennifer is very approachable, because this is the second time ever that I've ever talked to her. So she's one of those people, I see her on Facebook, and she's so friendly and so loving that it's like, oh, wait a second, this is the second time I've ever talked to her. I really don't know her. So that's like the comfort level here. So just appreciate it. And you're so awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I just want to thank everybody for your time today and for listening, for tuning in. Thank you everybody for their support. I want to give an extra shout out to everybody that is supporting my interdimensional exit buddy, Don Rogers, with March 4th Productions. He is now up to 156 subscribers and counting. So thank you to everybody. Thank you to everybody that has supported us. We love you all, and we'll see you again. Thank you. Bye.
Join your fellow Starseeds, Lightworkers, and Experiencers at the 2024 Full Disclosure Now Conference this July 15th to 18th at the lovely Serrata Beach Resort on St. Pete Beach, Florida. Over 34 Montauk Project survivors, Secret Space Program whistleblowers, ET contactees, and psychic healers will be presenting in the name of the Full Disclosure Movement. The truth must be revealed if we're all to achieve our Star Trek future here and now. This conference will be a fun and positively life-changing experience for so many. In addition to 4 days and nights of presentations, there will be special event dinners, dancing, fun time on the beach, UFO night watch tours, film screenings, vendors, and more. Get your event passes and book your stay now at fulldisclosuremovement.org.